This isn't really, I guess you can put this in or not, but so someone on Twitter from I'm not sure if you read the thing I posted.
I did.
So,
I read
like,
everything, okay? I'm not like you, okay? I'm not like, oh, do you see that shit about the cows? And you're like, I have literally no idea what you're talking about. It's like, oh, I posted that multiple times, of course, over the course of multiple days. Like, yeah, I don't actually read any of the things you send. I don't care about them.
So the problem is in the music game community is that if you're playing like DDR or Pump It Up or whatever, you are frequently making a trip out to play only that game, and you're playing it for like multiple hours. Now, this is an outlier in behavior because the average person who goes to an arcade is like there with their friends, having beers, whatever. They're probably playing a game or two of something and then moving on to the next game.
Literally nothing except rhythm games is like something that you would actively like. No one is looking at like the ticket redemption game and like trying to get really good at it. I mean, there's very, very rare exceptions, but the only games people like actively try to get better at in arcades are rhythm games
or like fighting games and stuff like that. But that's like a specific type of arcade, which is like a whole different situation where like no casual person would be jumping on or something like that.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, what happened was that some guy was playing a game, and apparently he kept playing it, and these people kept coming, seeing if they were done playing, and then obviously they were in the middle of a round, and then like kept leaving and coming back, leaving, coming back. The same person was still playing over and over and over. Now, mind you, this person playing, after they're done with their round, what they're doing is they're probably turning around, looking to see if anybody's there. No one's there. Okay, I guess I'll play again.
Or in the case where there's multiple people trying to play DDR or Pump It Up or something like that, they're like rotating. So they'll be like, oh, it's my turn is over, and then someone else will join. So
correct. The problem is like I said, this is out of the norm of how an average person interacts with the arcade. Like, no one is asking to play any game. What happens is they're like, oh, someone's playing it? All right, I'll come back in like 10 minutes when they're done, and I'll play it. So the issue comes about when they just see you hogging this dance game, and you're being an absolute dick about it, saying, well, why didn't you ask me if you want to play? Like, there's a line. Get in the line. You have to wait. Like,
So what was the actual, like, text of the tweet? It's like, people are so rude at public arcades. Like, they're saying that I'm hogging a machine when I'm, like, after every single round making sure that no one wants to play, or something of that context. So, like, that's what you're ranting about right now?
Yeah, basically. And my whole counter argument to that is, like, you're interacting with an arcade machine outside the norm of how an average person would interact with a game. So it's like,
I wonder if, like, the person you were arguing with, like, sees they were arguing with a suspended account, and, like, they're like, oh, I'm victorious. This account got suspended. Therefore, their argument was invalid. But you're basically just trying to say that, like, it's not normal behavior for, like, someone to, like, have to, after every single round, make sure that there's no one waiting and, like, actually allow them to do it. They should not get upset if someone sees someone at a machine and is not willing to wait and watch them play the machine in order to get a turn
maybe
in.
they don't know how it works. Maybe they don't know how, like, the etiquette and stuff like that. It's like, well, there's a line, you know, they should see our cards there and stuff like that. I saw people replying. It's like, Jesus Christ.
No one puts cards on the machine. If I see someone playing a machine, I'm not going to, like, go up to them and just, like, stare intently at them unless I literally know them. And there's the fact that, like, I think that most people aren't willing to wait like 2 minutes to use a machine, like especially if you're new to it and like you don't want to, like, you don't know how many songs they have left.
So they're gonna leave and come back because they don't understand how it works, because that's how literally every other game in the arcade works. But people are literally like in droves saying like, oh no, you're in the right, like they should have to wait in line, blah blah blah. If they leave, they lose their place, blah blah blah. Like, honestly, if I'm playing a game and I see some people coming back and waiting, I'm say, hey, like, even if there's like I'm next or something, it's like, hey, you want to play? Like, I feel like the average casual person should supersede any sort of line for these games, because otherwise they'll literally never get to play, and it's just going to look bad upon the establishment, and they're just going to hate you and never want to deal with you.
Well, I mean, in terms of like actual like arcade moneymakers, like rhythm games are like some of the worst performing games at these arcades. They're a draw.
So yes and no.
They're a draw. Actually... People go there and like they go there like with the intention of playing dance games, and they spend a lot more money. So I thought it was a lost leader according to the Dave and Buster CEO.
So how I explain it is there's two things. So anyone that's super hardcore at playing the game, you're actually not making any money, because they're going to do a full round, they're going to put in the correct credits and stuff like that. Now, the typical casual person, what they do is they go up there with a group of people, they accidentally put in 6 credits, they play one song, and then walk away. They just made $6 off of people playing one song. Like, the time and effort for the average casual person playing these games, stuff like that, is actually astronomical, versus like they really have no reason to cater to any sort of hardcore or like committed crowd of people who are coming there to like play the game. Because one, they're going to complain the most. They're going to want a certain maintenance. They're going to take up the most time. They're going to be like the most hassle, like, you know, with times and stuff like that. So
2, they're extremely loud and sweaty. They're just like they just, you don't want to like be around the rhythm game people if you don't know them. They smell bad literally because they are sweating a ton, and they're loud, and like they're in packs. Like, they're intimidating to go to. They kind of like, it's kind of like seeing
it's like they're intimidating.
Yeah, it makes you want to leave the arcade. It's like I don't feel comfortable around this crowd.
No,
but
my one thing to this crowd of people is like you have to be more aware of how everyone else interacts with games, and like they're like no one's gonna come up and ask you, oh, can I play? Like, what's the wait like? Do you have a 3.5 songs left before like they don't. You know, so like the whole tweet was like someone like got pissed at them and was like, "What the fuck? You're hogging the machine," and stuff like that. And then the guy apparently gave him back attitude, like, "Well, why don't you ask me?" Blah blah blah. And then the lady got pissed and was like, "I'll fuck you up," and that's where the whole thing.
Yeah, well, there's also like COVID. People don't want to just go up to strangers, especially like sweating strangers, breathing heavy. There's a billion reasons why like dance game players don't understand social norms, but I think the solution to this is just buy a $15,000 pump it up Fiesta cabinet and put it in your house.
Yeah, actually, put it on your roof.
Put it on the roof. Like I think actually you're referencing like a prank idea I had like 10 years ago for you, right?
What was that?
I just like inception this into your head. I'm not sure if you've seen the movie, but like I remember like 10 years ago I was like, hey, wouldn't it be a funny prank if I just got you like a $10,000 dance game machine and I got a crane and I put it on your roof and I'm like, hey, look outside, I got you a gift, and then like you just watch the pump machine fall off your roof and smash into a million pieces.
Like you just got pranked, bro.
You would be really sad. First of all, the danger of a large arcade machine falling off your roof. So you need to
understand me as a person, that I can appreciate the humor behind something like that.
I think you'd be pissed. I think you'd be pissed if you were an inch away from owning like one of your favorite dance game machines and you just saw it. Your dreams literally shattered to the ground.
I can be pissed and appreciate the humor behind like an absurdity of a situation at the same time. Like I'm extremely deprecating, I think that's the word. So it's like, yeah, I'd be pissed off, but at the same time I'd be like, holy shit, that's like the fucking stupidest, funniest thing ever.